Welcome back to the 30-day yoga challenge. We're on day 27. We're almost there. You're incredible. I'm so impressed by your ability to stay on it with this practice. Good for you. We're going to be focusing on intuitive eating through yoga today. And what I mean by intuitive eating is learning how to be more present with eating. It's very, very common for people to eat while watching TV, listening to a podcast, or just generally being on the go, being distracted while you're eating. This can lead to overeating, not paying attention to the signals that your body may be giving you. It can also lead to just really not appreciating the food that you're eating and just eating it for the sake of sustenance. What we want to do today is spend some time taking everything that we've learned up to this point about slowing down, paying attention on purpose, and particularly noticing how our bodies respond in the moment. And I'd like to invite you to generalize this out of the yoga practice to actually eating. Now, to get started today, just like we've been doing in our last number of yoga challenges over the last days, I'd like to invite you to get something that you can actually eat, just in a few small bites. So it could be something as simple as a cookie, or it could be like a mint, but grab something that's handy that you can eat just for a moment. You don't need to eat a lot of it, but just a few small bites. Even if it's a mint and it would just take a few bites in order to crush it and consume it, that's okay. What I'd like to first invite you to do before we actually place this in our mouths is whatever it is that you've elected to use to eat, just take a look at it. Notice its shape and its texture. Maybe turn it over. Notice any fine details. Notice visually if there's anything that you notice about this that you haven't before or may have just taken for granted that you see it so often. Give it a smell. And when you're ready, go ahead and take off a bite or place it in your mouth. And as you begin to chew, notice how it feels in your mouth, noticing any texture. Noticing if you favor one side of your mouth, the right, to chew over the other side, the left, or vice versa. Noticing if you chew closer to the front of your mouth or more in the back towards your molars. Notice the role that your tongue plays in chewing on this. Any flavors, how the texture changes. And just give yourself a moment here to swallow, notice whatever comes next. Our yoga practice today is designed to help you focus more on anything that you notice. Good, bad, indifferent, major detail, small detail, doesn't matter. What we're learning how to do is to show up and pay attention to our experience on purpose. And I'd like to offer you one last challenge outside of the yoga mat for when we finish our practice today. Rather than thinking about intuitive eating as being something that you can only do when you're not distracted and when you have the time to sit down and eat slowly on purpose. No way. I'd like to challenge you over the next 4 or 5 things that you eat, whether they be a couple meals or a snack and a couple meals, however that looks in your life. But to use what we do today in this yoga practice to specifically pay attention to a couple of those bites, to notice some of the sensations that you may have otherwise not noticed or just taken for granted with a sense of automaticity. All right, enjoy our yoga practice for day 27, intuitive eating through yoga. Let's make our way back down onto the ground. Let's start this practice by finding yourself in a comfortable seat, Sukhasana. Now, what I'm going to recommend is that you find yourself seated in Sukhasana on the ground. If sitting on the ground isn't workable for you, that's okay. I'm going to give you some adaptations for being in a chair. Now, what we mean by Sukhasana, easy pose, this is meant to be a long-held meditative pose. We're not going to hold it for too long. We're going to get kind of rolling into this yoga practice. But here's what I want you to do. Sitting on the ground with your legs crossed. Now, you may need to lean from side to side in order to move the flesh away from the sit bones so you get a little bit more of a flatter seat onto the ground. If this is already causing some strain and some stress, which it very well might be, go ahead and grab a towel or a pillow and prop yourself up on it. What you want to do is have your pelvis tilted forward so you can sit nice and tall through the spine, but be tilted forward ever so slightly. Alternatively, if sitting on the ground is not accessible to you, I understand. you can sit on a chair with your feet flat on the ground, and let's just go ahead and place our hands on our laps. Take an inhale, press through the crown of your head, breathe in. Notice what you're feeling in this moment. Exhale, soften your jaw, soften the muscles around the shoulders. Let yourself be tall, but not rigid. Remember that even trees, with all of their height, they still have a level of flexibility to them. If they're rigid, they break. When the wind blows, trees bend with the wind. Allow yourself to be tall, but not rigid. Allow there to be flexibility in your posture. As we're getting our practice started today, we're really going to focus on being aware. Being aware of how we move, how that impacts us, how our breath can help us open up to more movement, and how holding our breath can cause us to grit down and find some inflexibility. Similar to when we're eating, it's easy to eat in autopilot, to not notice which side of our mouth we favor eating food on, which teeth we chew with more, how our tongue interacts with our food. So let's really focus on intentionally moving with our bodies here today. To really learn how we can take this off the mat and to the dinner table. If you're seated on the floor, reach your hands forward as you hinge at the hip, folding all the way forward, pressing your hands out and allowing yourself to come into a forward bend. If you're seated on a chair, just allowing your upper body to drape over your legs, over your thighs, and to let your arms hang low. Still in this fold, breathe in. Now you don't have any lungs in your low spine, so I can't invite you to breathe into your spine. But what I can do is invite you to simultaneously inhale to reach forward, exhale to let your body go heavy, and notice the lengthening through your spine. Noticing the push-pull of gravity weighing you down, and also of your spine, of your pelvis, of everything being held together through connective tissue, bones, skin. Just feeling your body here. Let's take one more inhale, nice and deep in this forward fold. Breathing in, really feeling the body press down as you breathe in, feeling the increased buoyancy, feeling your body get larger. Exhale, breathe out. Let your body go heavy. Feel the weight of your body pressing down. Now if you're seated on the ground, go ahead and reach your hands forward, spread through the fingers. And if you're seated on a chair, maybe using your shins for some support, inhale, press in, lift up nice and slow, back in to our easy pose, back into our meditative posture here. And wherever you're at in this posture, bringing some motion into your body, like a wiggle of the fingers, a rotation of the wrists. Maybe wiggle your toes, rotate through your ankles, maybe move the head from side to side. Rolling over onto your right side. Use your left arm to prop you up. And we're going to come into a four-legged posture. And with your knees about hips width apart, I'm going to invite you to widen your knees just a little bit wider and press back through the sit bones, pressing your arms forward. This is what we call a child's pose. It may be difficult for you to rest your head on the ground, so you may need a pillow or any type of prop. Like for example, I always find a blanket or a towel folded as a really nice prop to help me get some length in the spine. And that's what we're looking for here, is a nice long spine. You may wish to reach the hands forward, spreading through the fingers. Or you may wish, if you have a nice long spine here and you're feeling comfortable, you may wish to draw the arms back parallel to the body. The object here isn't for your hips to press all the way back and for your butt to make contact with your ankles. The object here is for you to find some relaxation in this posture, to feel some length through the spine, and to be in your body, to breathe and notice the sensations of being here in this pose. Breathing in, noticing if you can feel the breath in the low back. We spend a lot of time in meditation noticing the sensations of breath in the belly or in the chest, but notice where you feel the breath in the back. It may be especially easy in this posture where you're leaning forward with your head resting down. Just allowing yourself a moment to pause here, breathe it in. Just paying attention to your body, noticing the sensations that you're experiencing. Our practice today is really about paying attention to sensations, leaning into the cues that our body may have, as we've done so many times throughout this yoga challenge. Our mantra here is that if we can pay attention to our bodies, we can learn how to apply this off of the mat. Imagine yourself the next time that you're eating, whether it's some water after this practice and a snack, or a meal, really just giving yourself permission to go slow and to be okay with what shows up. Breathe in all the way. Breathing out. We'll come back onto our backs now. With the knees bent and the feet flat on the floor, you're going to want to remove any blankets or towels that are supporting your body. Go ahead and find yourself with your palms facing down and just stepping the feet back ever so slightly so that the feet are only a hip's width apart and the feet don't need to be pressing right up against the buttocks, but you want to step the feet in ever so slightly. With the knees bent, laying flat on your back, let's go ahead and check in with our neck, make sure that we're protecting the neck here. So you may want to just lift your head up, lengthen through your neck, then place the head back down. With the palms flat down on the ground, beginning with the pelvis, I'm going to invite you to inhale and begin to lift the body up off the ground, putting weight into your heels. And lifting slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae. Take the full length of your inhale and your exhale. Once you reach the top of this posture with your body off the mat, notice if there's a place where you go a little too far and you start putting pressure on your neck. If you get there, take some of the pressure off. Come back down a little. Taking a full breath here. On your next exhale, come down slowly, dropping vertebrae by vertebrae. Remembering that yoga isn't about simply achieving a posture, it's about the journey of working through the postures, connecting your breath with your movement, and being mindful, being present of how that moves in your body. One more time. Let's engage in this little bit of a back bend here. Pressing into the heels to inhale, lifting the pelvis off the ground, and slow, vertebrae by vertebrae, take the full length of your inhale to lift off of the ground. If it's accessible to you, you may wish to inch the elbows in underneath the body, maybe even interlacing the fingers, pressing down through the forearms and elbows. And notice if that helps give you a little bit more stability or strength to lift through the posture. Or notice if it's an invitation for your mind to be like, yeah, I can really crank myself in here. Just pause and Notice what your mind does with this adjustment of playing around with your arms under your body. Breathing here, wiggle the toes. Being thankful for our toes. Wiggle the fingers. On your next exhale, if your fingers are interlaced under your body, moving the hands out from under the body, dropping down vertebrae by vertebrae until you come flat down onto the mat. We're going to get into a supine posture called Shavasana. Here in this Shavasana posture, maybe lift your head up, lengthen through the spine, and then place your head back down on the floor. Allow yourself to feel your body being supported by the earth. And notice any places that you may be carrying tension. A place that I oftentimes carry tension, even though it's not going to help me through a single damn yoga posture, is in my jaw. I notice myself clenching my teeth and tightness in my jaw. So I'm going to consciously, as I'm sharing this practice with you right now, I'm actually going to make an effort to just allow the muscles around my jaw to relax, knowing that it's not going to help me teach you some of these foundational yoga postures today. Allowing your arms to go heavy. If your knees are bent, just allowing your feet to press down into the ground. Allowing any tension to drop out of the shoulders and out of the back. Wherever you find yourself in this Shavasana posture, just find some stillness. Breathe. Be with your body. Notice what it feels like to be in this posture. As we begin to end this practice, pause for a moment and reconnect with what it is that's important to you about doing this yoga challenge. And whatever shows up, my invitation to you is to be present to it. You may wish to maintain this posture for a few minutes after this video ends, but I'm going to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for participating in this practice. The light in me acknowledges and bows to the light in you. Namaste. I'd like to finish by saying thank you so much for sharing your energy with me on this practice today, being a part of this yoga challenge. Don't forget to hit the like button. It's super reinforcing to me, makes me want to make more of these videos. Hit subscribe and the bell icon to keep updated on these videos so that you don't miss any of them. And definitely share this with people in your world, because you never know who's going to benefit from this 30-day yoga challenge. Thank you so much. Namaste.